Back here on the Insiders yesterday on the show.
It's like that movie Inception, like a dream within a dream. You know, I always wanted to play in the National Football League, and then you play for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, we're just going deep. We're going deep with it. Year 16, dream within a dream. It's super cool. I mean, being here, I know a lot of guys already. Know a lot of coaches too. Being here, being in this atmosphere is surreal. So this year, I really wanted to be intentional with, you know, the decision that I made and what team that I went to. And it's crazy because I ran into Dak in Vegas probably like a month ago. You know, he was sitting in the high limit gambling. I just sat down with Dak and we just started gambling together and talking. And I was like, hey, man, y'all, it's about time for Dak. It's about time, you know, you got to break through one of these teams. You got to break through one of these years. I think this year you'll be able to do it. Like, you got everybody to do it. And that was, I didn't have any inkling on, you know, being a Dallas Cowboy. They just happened naturally. And then the Cowboys reached out, and I was just like, bro, this is a sign. Like, this is a sign for me. And, you know, we worked on it, talked to some other teams, but ultimately, you know, my love for the Dallas Cowboys, my chicken farm is here, my family's here. Just by being a Dallas Cowboy and wearing that star, it was beneficial to me and my family, and that's what ultimately made the decision for me.
Dallas certainly loading up on defense from a 15-year NFL vet to a 14-year vet. And Keenan Allen's got a new home, a one-year, $8.3 million deal with the Colts. Shrewd move by Indy. Remember, Alec Pierce coming off the ankle surgery. Michael Pittman now playing in Pittsburgh. Some other wide receiver news for you. I was watching Josh Allen do Josh Allen things in week 1 of the preseason. Found Keon Coleman for a touchdown. That was the good news. The bad, Coleman diagnosed with a sprained foot and a toe injury. So he's been walking around with the boot. Joe Brady did not, though, seem overly concerned about that injury. I told you yesterday about the groin problem for Breece Hall, and that injury that he suffered. The Jets running back is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, according to his coach, Aaron Glenn. The coach said today he should be good for week 1. Remember, he is coming off a 1,000-yard season on the ground last year. Falcons still trying to figure out that quarterback situation, but their defense, it got a boost. Defensive end Za'Darius Smith signed a 1-year, $6 million deal. Could get pushed up to $8 million. Smith, remember, actually played for Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland back in the 23 and 24 campaigns. For a little bit more on this, we bring in back Dan and Ian. Ian, just explain to me the significance on the defensive side for Smith now rocking an Atlanta uniform.
Yeah, this was a badly needed edge for the Atlanta Falcons. Remember, earlier this offseason, earlier this training camp, they've had some significant news surrounding both of their starting edges, actually 2 first-rounders from last year. First of all, Jalen Walker tore his ACL the day, actually, Steve Weiss and I were there at practice. He, of course, is out for the season. That created one need on the edge. And then James Pierce, their other starting edge, really promising rookie from last year, now a second-year player, suspended 8 games because of an off-the-field matter, a criminal matter that he has been dealing with. So that created the need. So Za'Darius Smith, who last year played a little bit for the Eagles, then retired and was open to unretiring and coming back, worked out for Kevin Stefanski's old team, the Cleveland Browns. I think a lot of people assumed that he would just sign with the Browns. The Falcons, knowing then the news of James Pierce, so you know what, we want to get involved as well. They had him in for a workout, ultimately paid him a lot of money for a player coming off the couch. 1 year, as you mentioned it, $6 million, can be $8 million with incentive. Za'Darius Smith now has a new home in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're going to need him. And you made reference to it. They had some hits in terms of that draft a couple years ago with Walker and Pierce. With those guys not out there, definitely going to fill a nice void. But from an offensive standpoint, Dan, we keep calling it a competition. I haven't seen Penix out there at this point. At what point do you think they just focus their attention on the guy that's healthy enough to play in Tua?
I think it's coming pretty soon just because the season is. Michael Penix Jr. has not been cleared for 11-on-11 team drills, those kinds of activities yet. Still coming back off of that torn ACL. So until that happens, until he is cleared for that work, this can't really be a quarterback competition. Tua Tagovailoa is healthy. Michael Penix Jr. is not. The season starts in a little over 3 weeks. So at this point, the Falcons are doing a lot of what they're doing is trying to get Tua ready to start week 1, because unless Penix jumps back into action here really soon and makes it a close race, that does seem to be the way things are pointing. Now, Tua starts week 1. Penix gets healthy. Do the Falcons want to see Penix at some point eventually to figure out if he can be still their franchise quarterback that they thought he could be when they drafted him in the first round? Entirely possible. But as of right now, it's not an option for them, and Tua is.
Yeah, they've also spent about over $350 million this offseason on that team's offense. So whoever QB1 is definitely going to have some pieces around them to work with. There is another quarterback competition because, there can only be one. I think I just aged myself with a Highlander reference. QB1 status for the Browns still undetermined. Todd Monken gave Deshaun Watson the start in week 1. Sanders Shedeur, that is, will start Saturday against the Bills, a game you can watch here on NFL Network and the ESPN app. And Dan, handicap the state of this competition for me.
Todd Monken, the new head coach, has said all along that he wants to give each of these guys an equal opportunity to win the job. So Deshaun Watson started the first preseason game last weekend in Chicago. Shedeur Sanders will get the start this weekend at home against Buffalo. After that, I would anticipate Monken will make an announcement, a decision and an announcement about his week 1 starter. To this point, everything we've heard out of Cleveland throughout the summer has been that Watson has been in the lead and is probably the favorite to win the job. Can Sanders do something Saturday to change that? Entirely possible, but right now it feels like Watson is in the driver's seat in this competition in Cleveland.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Certainly, it has been like that for the Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson. Having the leg up here, the only thing I would say is there is something about Shedeur Sanders, and the organization knows this, that when the lights come on, something happens. There is a lot to like, and he will go out there, and he will make plays, and he's got a sort of magnetic thing going on where guys will play for him. And yes, there is a chance that he goes out, plays well, and forces the Browns to, you know what, we're going to maybe take another week to consider. That said, if Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point this season, probably the same like Dan was just talking about with Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing both quarterbacks. The only thing that matters for the Cleveland Browns this year, besides just getting this team to a point where they can win consistently, is knowing if they have their starting quarterback for 2027 on their roster right now. If not, they're going to have a big offseason. If yes, everything gets much easier, but that's the answer they would like to find out, and that might take playing multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah, they've been taking some swings and looking for a hit at some point. Guys, we do have some sad news to report. In fact, the man who actually shaped how we consume sports passed away today. ESPN's co-founder and first president, Bill Rapp. When you know, you know. And Kevin O'Connell knew early, made the call. Kyler Murray is his starting quarterback. Got a glimpse of him against the Giants. Played just one series, 2 or 3 passing for 10 yards. But that's not really the story here. It's what's about to happen in week number 1 of the NFL season. Dan, I know you spent some time around this squad. What's exciting the Vikings and this fan base and this front office and this coaching staff?
Well, it's the run game on offense. They really set out this offseason to make some changes in that aspect of their offense, bringing in Frank Smith, who was Mike McDaniel's offensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins for the past several years. They feel like Smith has brought some new ideas to the run game. They're running more wide zone stuff. I had a chance to talk to Aaron Jones, their running back, one of their running backs in camp, and he went on and on about Frank Smith and his football mind and how much he's already learned from him and all that. So they really believe that the run game is going to be a benefit to, as it turns out, Kyler Murray, but whoever ended up playing quarterback for them, and also that Kyler can be a factor in the run game as well with his mobility. So it's really not just the quarterback situation that was occupying the Vikings' mind in terms of their offense this offseason and where they could improve it. They really feel like they have a chance to elevate their run game as well, and that'll benefit Kyler Murray and whoever else might end up playing quarterback for them this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him buy some time with those legs. We saw it in Arizona, but I got Justin Jefferson, I got Jordan Addison. There's some wrinkles to this offense with Kyler Murray at the helm that could be very entertaining from a fan's perspective. Hopefully it means wins for that organization. Now, I remember when Tucker Kraft's season ended. Boy, it was catastrophic, playing some of the best ball in the NFL. He's coming back from that ACL tear and could be in line for a big payday. Here's their general manager, Brian Gutekunst.
Him getting back in the team drills really had no effect on anything, but it's good to see him out there. I mean, he's worked his tail off. Congratulations to him. I mean, these are little things that are big things. When you're coming off an injury, like he's coming off, and so I know he was really excited to get out there and join his teammates. As far as the contract goes, it doesn't have any really effect on that.
That's a whole part of this process is me, day in and day out, coming in, being consistent, stacking days without setbacks, and accumulating these reps now in a team setting so that they can see my health, and we can just keep taking the talks from there.
To Jason's point, I mean, did you think about not doing the 11-on-11 stuff until you
Never crossed my mind.
Yeah, dude wants to be out there, wants to show that he's healthy, and I got to imagine he wants to get paid. Ian, how do we handle this contract from a Green Bay perspective?
The Packers really need to, I would say, just watch football, watch the field, watch him go out there and play, because there really is no doubt, one, he's healthy. Two, you watch that interview, and, I mean, this is a guy who wants to be out there, didn't consider holding in. It is really the exact kind of guy that the Green Bay Packers have wanted to draft and develop, which they did. When he gets a new contract, which I would not be surprised at all if it is this year, it might be the preseason. You hope it's the preseason, but it might not be. Going to be the highest paid tight end in the NFL. And, of course, he is not the only one. You also have the Detroit Lions and Sam Laporta also engaged in contract negotiations. Wouldn't be surprised if he also was the highest paid tight end in the NFL. What Tucker Kraft has on his side, not that he really needs anything, and now that he's shown that he is healthy, what he has on his side is just how good he was last year, Dan. And then when he came off the field, when he suffered his injury, the offense looked different. And if he needed to argue for his value as a star on this field, that probably spoke as loud as anything.
Certainly the offense, the explosive element of their offense suffered a great deal once Tucker Kraft went down last year and was difficult to replace, so they're hoping to get some of that back. We talked about, you guys talked about the Detroit Lions and Sam Laporta also in that tight end extension market. The Lions are in an interesting situation this offseason. They had 4 draft picks from the 2023 NFL draft that they felt like they wanted to keep around long term. Jack Campbell, linebacker, first-round pick. Jahmyr Gibbs, first-round pick at running back. Those guys both got deals. Sam Laporta still doesn't have one, and safety Brian Branch still doesn't have one. So the Lions are a team that has almost kind of drafted too well for its own good and ends up having to pick and choose which guys get extensions and which guys don't. You do wonder whether at some point there will be one that can't get done just because there were so many to do. Brian Branch still working through an injury. That one might take a little more time, but Laporta is a guy that the Lions would like to find out if they can keep around long term.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, man. Like, especially when it's not you're the person out writing those checks, but you really can't pay everyone, and they have dished out a whole lot of money this offseason, so we'll continue to monitor that situation. The Insider's former Lions first-rounder Terrion Arnold was arrested this summer in connection to an armed robbery and a kidnapping case in Florida. Now, the felony charges carry a potential sentence up to life in prison. Detroit releasing Arnold as the legal situation continues to unfold. For a little more context on what's next, Ian Rappaport back with us. Ian, what more can you add to this story?
Well, I'll tell you about the timing and then what is going to happen to Terrion Arnold. And this is something I reported earlier today with colleague Mike Garafolo. So our understanding is Terrion Arnold will be placed on the NFL's commissioner's exempt list, which means he'll be not able to practice and not able to play in games until and unless his legal situation gets resolved in whatever way it gets resolved. So that is likely going to be some time. He is still planning to sign with the Seahawks, and they are not backing away from this. They are not walking away from him. They are going to sign him, but it's not expected to be for at least a couple weeks. The Seahawks are still working through the timing of this, but our understanding is this is not immediate. And as far as him being placed on the commissioner's exempt list, our understanding is teams that were interested in him, and he took several visits, they were told that this was the likelihood. So all would have signed him knowing that you might have to put him essentially to the side for a little bit as his situation gets resolved. So that is where Terrion Arnold is. Expect him to sign perhaps by the end of the summer, and then we'll see when he's able to get on the field or how his situation is resolved.
And I know whenever those updates come in from a legal perspective, Ian, you and Mike will have us covered on that story. Some other news to get to here. From a Seattle perspective, too. Former Cowboy Trevon Diggs worked out for the Seahawks today. Corner also worked out for the Lions earlier this month. So there's some connections here with the Arnold story. Now, last year, he played in 9 games with Dallas and Green Bay. No picks, 27 tackles. We're also waiting, we talk about contracts this offseason on Christian Gonzalez, certainly in line for the next big deal at the corner spot in the NFL. We saw Seattle pay Devin Witherspoon, making him the highest paid corner in the league. Conventional wisdom would tell you Gonzalez in line for a big deal. Dan, the cadence usually works like this. One really talented guy gets paid, sets the market. A day, 2 days, 3 days later, the next guy, he then becomes the highest paid player. So Witherspoon already set the bar. What's the process? What's the holdup here right now for Gonzalez and the Patriots?
Well, I still expect this deal to get done at some point, but, unlike the running back situation from a couple of weeks ago where Bijan Robinson signed one day and then Jahmyr Gibbs signed the next day for a little bit more, this is taking a little bit longer, and it's probably not as simple as just Devin Witherspoon's getting $33 million a year, Christian Gonzalez should get $33.1, because Seattle has a specific way of doing their contracts with their guarantees and their cash flow. They do not guarantee money beyond the first year. In this case, it's the second year because they already had guaranteed the fifth-year option. They don't do rolling guarantees a year ahead where, like, the 2028 guarantees on Devin Witherspoon's contract would trigger in 2027. He has to wait until 2028 to get that guaranteed. So all that said, if Christian Gonzalez wants year 3 guarantees or early triggers on the guarantees, then the Seattle contract with Devin Witherspoon does not establish a precedent that he can work off of. So these tend to be all about cash flow, guarantee structure, basically when does the guy get his money, and the Patriots and Christian Gonzalez continue to work through that. But if you're wondering why it wasn't as simple as, oh, Devin Witherspoon got done, now Christian Gonzalez gets done, it gets to the issue of how different teams handle long-term contract structures differently, and that could be why it takes a little while for Gonzalez to get paid.
Yeah, Dan, great stuff. Love that context because I don't think people realize sometimes how the different teams work on some of these deals. I think it was Ian or Mike G yesterday on the show that told us they have the same representation. So maybe that's another point here as we just wait to find